Pioneer. If you refer to this as a noun, a person who is among the first to explore or settle a new country or area. If you refer to it as a verb, then it could mean to develop, to be the first to use or apply a new method, area of knowledge or activity. Now, I want you to think about these words as we look at this. Can you look at this house and say that truly Italians are the ones who pioneered or are the first ones to develop?
Italians, who are celebrated for their devotion to architecture and history, are turning a new chapter in their love of design, but now within the 3D printing space. Italy's pioneering 3D printing company WASP, short for World's Advanced Saving Project, teamed up with Maria Cucinella Architects to design the first house 3D printed from raw earth. This sustainable living project called Tecla, which signifies technology and clay, is a state-of-the-art eco-habitat based on a circular housing model. Built in the Massa Lombarda region in northern Italy, the house was made using only reusable and recyclable materials, sourced from natural products adaptable to any climate.
Now, I have said on this platform that we as Africans need to be careful in terms of this protecting indigenous knowledge, but building on that indigenous knowledge so that someone else does not do this for us, then come and remarket it to us and present it as, oh, this is new knowledge. And they become the ones who are now benefiting from what our ancestors and we who are part of this lineage started. So this video, as you can see, it is talking about this company being a pioneer and being able to build the first ever madhouse. I understand the aspect of 3D printing, but they're not pioneers. Africans started to build madhouses long before Italians did. And it bothers me when people who are using 3D printing or this new type of technology to improve on indigenous knowledge that was already there and was already established, and they just never give credit to that knowledge. Guys, look at this house that these guys are presenting. Number one, if you notice, it is a dome-shaped house. Yeah. Number two, you notice it has ridges. If I can even just go back, I went back to the internet, looked at the Masgam community houses in Cameroon. Masgam is a community based in Cameroon. You guys can go and research about them. And they had beautiful dome-shaped madhouses that really mimic, like these guys, it's like they came. It mimics everything from the Masgam community. I can tell you from the appearance of it. Even the way the two dome-shaped houses have been linked. Just look at this. Look at this house and then look at what has been presented. And this is why it really infuriates me when I hear things like, oh, the Italians are now revolutionizing this. I'm like, come on, guys. Where is the credit for the originator of this specific design? Where is the credit for the community and the communities who came up with this original idea? Some of us just go to these communities, to these tribes, and we give them just something very little, peanuts really, and we sit with them and we get the knowledge, and then we come back and we develop it because we now have money in our pockets, and we allow this knowledge to enrich us, especially people of European descent, people of American descent. They manipulate and use indigenous knowledge from not just from Africans, but from many indigenous communities to enrich themselves, and they never care to give credit. I think this is absolutely disgusting. And I think we as Africans, my brothers and sisters, my villagers, we need to wake up. You know, we shouldn't be educated fools. And by that, by saying that, I don't mean to insult anyone, but what I'm trying to say is an educated fool is someone who just goes to school, gets the quote unquote modern day education, they sit on it, and you go look for a job, and you don't allow that knowledge to enrich you and your community and where you come from and your people. And so you just became a basic person, a laborer. Yeah. Just living this life, going through all the bills and the mortgage. And when you retire, you almost are not to be recognized. So it's just a waste of you maybe even getting educated. I mean, just look at these designs, guys. Tell me this and what you're seeing is not like almost similar. These are the early models of the houses. Some of these people, again, have gone back to Africa. They've done a lot of research, and you can see they are now the ones who are holding some of the original designs. But let me not make this video too long. I want to say this to my African brothers and sisters. This is the generation. This is the time for us really to go and tap into that indigenous knowledge. Our grandparents, the older generation, they're growing old, and older, and they're going to pass away, in good time. But this is the time that we can, before any of them forget, before any of us, we lose them. This is the time that we need to go and sit on their feet and be humble and listen to them, because there's been this misconception that people who have gotten papers from what they quote unquote refer to as modern education, they look down on the people who have been in the villages and they have sustained that culture for years and years, for many, many years. And so we need to humble ourselves. We need to go back to our communities. We need to find ways to bridge the gap. And we need to rebuild that which was stolen from us and that which currently lies in museums, and people don't want to give back our books, that they call quote unquote artifacts. Those are not artifacts. Those are our books. Some of these artifacts, they have history about architecture. They have history about how we built and sustained ourselves, how we survived floods, how we survived drought, how we survived different types of diseases. And many of us do not know, because we have been conditioned to think that the way we're living right now and being dependent to the system is the way. We have forgotten to be self-sufficient, and we need to go back to the basics. We as Africans, you'll hear me say over and over again, we have something good, and we had many good things that we were able to sort of like use that to sustain our lives in generations and generations that were there before us. And people saw this and they got jealous of what we had. And so they decided that we're going to go and exploit those people and even take some of the best people who had produced some of the best works in Africa, from housing, from works of art, food, so much. People decided to come and exploit that for their own personal gain. And so when I constantly come here to this platform to urge my fellow Africans, to urge my fellow villagers to go back to the indigenous knowledge, it is because I also understand over time, it's taken me a long time to open my eyes and to see this other side of the story.